Welcome to the 5th round of the Rapid tournament. Now we are playing very experienced Grandmaster in Blitz and Rapid, and he was one of the top GMs in Serbia in last decade. We started the game, I opened with e4, he went c5, knight f3, a6. Deciding for Chiani variation, there is options now for white to go c3, c4 and d4 to enter Count Sicilian. But I decided to go for c4, my Roxy bind formation. He played d6, now d4. It's important because if I don't play d4, there is e5. He played knight d7, I played knight c3, and he went for e6. It's a little provocation and allowing me d5 to close the system. Usually it's very interesting setup for black, in especially faster time controls. In the classical game, this is not good for black, even in Rapid. Because you see the evaluation bar already gives 1.3 for white. I played bishop e2, he went knight to e7. And now I should start directly going h4, h5. Because intentions of this knight is clear, they want to go knight g6. On the other side, f5 would be too early for them because opens these light squares and my knight can jump to e6. I played h3, he went knight g6. I played g3, restricting the knight. And okay, I provoked the knight to come on g6, he played bishop to e7. And as I mentioned earlier, I could start that move at once, but now it's not late because position is closed and you have all time on this work. He played h6. And at this point for white is just important to maintain the space, to not trade pieces and to be careful how he pushes the pawn. So ideas such as bishop e3, followed by queen d2, something like knight h2 and trying to, regroup the pieces, maybe even push f4 at some point to grab even more space. That's the plans for white. For black, it really depends on white's decision. If white goes too much with pawns, then some squares such as g5, like if I go h5, then g5 becomes sensible spot. I played bishop e3, and here playing very, very quickly. Knight f6, automatically, that shows the experience and confidence. He's putting every single move pressure on my clock. Now maybe he wants to play knight g4, put a pressure on this bishop. So now what should I play here is maybe something like queen to c2. And if he goes knight g4, to have option to bring my bishop back. But instead I went for h5, which is not best decision. This is something what I'm explaining, that after that g5 becomes a soft spot for the bishop in the future. So after rerouting the knight, he'll have it. I went knight h4. My intentions are clear. I want to go on f5. He went knight from 8th rank to h7. And he's slowly updating his structure and control. So he would like to come here in the next few moves. The thing is now he needs to move the knight on d7 and maybe already go for bishop g5 or knight g5. Black is looking forward of trading some pieces, while white should not do that. So now, most probably, I should go for something like a4, a5, trying to get space even on the queen side. Maybe I can go knight g2, just repositioning my knight and supporting my bishop here. I went knight f5 actually. And after castles I was a little surprised because taking on f5 was a strong move. And after eliminating this one, you should look forward of bringing this knight on d7 and then already jumping on g5. That will be very strong. Instead he castled. And now at that point, I'm looking forward some sacrifices here that looks attractive. I should immediately eliminate this bishop. So the thing is, this bishop is bad. But the point of elimination of that piece is bishop pair and also not being able later to go on g5 and offer the trade of my dark square bishop. Because my dark square bishop is more valuable than his bishop. And that's why he want to trade that one. So it's better to trade the knight than the bishop. I mean our bishop. So I went queen d2. Now he's last chance to take the knight. Otherwise in the next move I'll be the one to take this bishop. So now bishop takes f5, pawn takes f5 and knight e7. strong formation for black again, but he didn't play that one. I was surprised a little bit. He went instead for knight e8. And now again white got chance to eliminate bishop on e7 before he goes for bishop g5. And that's what I did. Take. And now we have to craft the plan here. So how actually white continues? There's some interesting plan of going g4, provoking f6. Otherwise, if they go knight g5, we can be steady here and pretty much don't react. We can play maybe f3, then a3, b4, and slowly white should realize that focusing on the queen side is worth than focusing on the king side. But it's always hard to decide. I went for f4 because I thought this is a great move that opens up the center, if he takes, of course. But he won't take. Taking on f4 is obviously bad for black because it opens the line. That's why he went knight from 8th rank to f6, which is normal developing move. And basically black can always play back and forward with his knights, which is actually very funny how much he's safe and how much time he can spend just because position is totally close. I went too fast for these decisions and changing the structure. I exposed my pawns too much. So now the only move that keeps some solid things for white is f5, which is another reaction here. It's good move, but then how are you gonna break later? Because he's bringing the knight back on e8, and he might play something like f6 later, and how white won't break on the king side. I can try g4, g5, which is one of the top ideas here. I should definitely consider that one. And on knight g5, we can even look forward of eliminating that one, and if they take back with pawn to go h6. So that's an interesting idea. Now, after this moment, after bringing the knight back on e8, I was a little bit confused what to do. Can't find the best way for my pieces. I went bishop d1 because I would like to get on the other side. He played bishop d7. It's a very passive move. I should keep my bishop here for a moment. I played a4, trying to stop counterplays with b5. Anyways, here, breaking on b5 would be possible for black at some point after knight c7 and supporting that. He started with rook b8. And I just wanted to fix the structure a5. It's a nice strategical move. Knight c7. So he's playing very fast. Like, he's not waiting for anything. Now the best move here for white, which even Grandmaster at the moment cannot understand, is the move b4, because when they take, you want to play knight b1 and then pawn falls, while the structure remains very strong for white here. I didn't say that one. Also, he didn't say that one. I went bishop a4, which is totally wrong. Trading the pieces only suits black here. He could take on a4. He decided to go b5, and now taking on b6. Rook takes b6. And at this point, b line gets open and suddenly pressure appears. I should keep my bishop by going bishop d1 here. That's the best move. And then maybe go b3, trying to stabilize, not open up too much. My king is in the center, not castled, and I can be in a very big trouble if I expose my pawns too much. I went king d2, because I would like to keep king there, not really castle, because then h pawn will become weakness. He played rook a b8, I play rook from h to b1. And now the thing is, it's hard to make rake. I want to go b4, but there is so many pieces controlling that square. He played knight to e8, so he's again rerouting the knight, because now he wants to go here and also trying to open up something. Now he took on d7, he just took back, and that's what he wants. Trading, simplifying, because endgame is much better for him. My pawns are simply too much exposed. And also he's putting pressure on my clock. At this point here, it's hard to create any plan for white. If I want to go stack the rooks on the a line, then my b pawn is always hanging. I played that way rook a3, trying to do something, maybe to go next move b3 and then rook from b to a1. He played quickly knight from 8th rank to f6, targeting now my pawn on h5, and I'm realizing that I'm losing maybe the pawn here, because I can go with rook h1 move, because rook takes b2. Happens and I'm losing the game. g4 loses the pawn on the spot. Pawn on e4 is always under target, and suddenly black is better. I played king to f3, trying to additionally protect the squares on the king side, but that's really desperate. Simply now pawn is hanging on h5. He just took it. And now at that point, I don't really have any idea how to create a counterplay. Position is very passive for white. And also king is in a trouble. That way I decided to go for b3, trying to protect my pawn with this rook and this rook together, so to free up at least my queen if something happens. Maybe the next move I can go g4, g5, even sacrifice, open up the g line. I'm actually in a very big trouble here. And he's playing so quick, pressuring my time. He played queen to d8, trying to bring the queen on the other side of the board or to support something together with the knight. I mean, evaluation bar always goes up and down, you know, because black is having most probably faster and better continuations. I brought my rook on h1. It's apparently a mistake. Then he brought a knight back to f6. Apparently it's a miss. Then he played g4. He played knight to d7, and you know, it goes up and down, but black cannot really blunder anything here. That's the thing. He's always safe without trouble, so he just wanna make some enter in with rooks and simplify the game. Now he's looking forward bringing the knight here, then queen will enter, and also the endgame is much better for black. I played rook to h5. To be honest, the purpose of this move was to stop knight g5 here. He played f6. And now at that point, I can actually stabilize because he lost the track or this diagonal with a queen. So I played rook e1. I completely forgot that he can go knight g5 now. And now I have a problem after bishop takes, pawn takes. He will eventually come with a knight here, create a nice spot, and then target my weaknesses. I brought my rook back to h1. He played knight f6. Now pressuring my time again, I went to rook a3, desperately searching for any sort of counterplay here. But since now the king side is completely closed and only in his favor, he's only deciding when he will open. Now he can actually start taking and opening the lines for the rooks. He takes, then attacks my queen. I brought a queen to e3. Now the pins are very scary on the third rank. Firstly, he played a rook to b6, trying to move my rook from the a line or generally trade my active rook because it's a little annoying maybe. Then I played rook a1, activating the rook. Now I have a threat of rook a8. Also have a threat of knight b5, trying to lock in on the queen side. But he has a very simple solution to that, to not allow me to jump with my knight. And that's actually to pin me. But before that he decided to take the rook, I take back, and now he played rook b3. This is very annoying pin. It's even hard to do anything about that, because kicking the rook from this spot is almost impossible. And if I want to move my king from the third rank, then I will always leave the g4 and e4 pawn alone. My queen is passive, my knight is bad, only the rook is doing something. But for activity and for a very big counterplay here in this position, where we are pawn down and open king, we need to bring other pieces to the game. I spent so much time in this game, even playing very poor moves, deciding very quick, not thinking about concrete plans. Desperately now defending this position, rook a4. Black has many ways for the entrance, to be honest with you. He decided to go queen e8, very nice move, attacking my rook here, and also looking forward some breaks, such as h5. I'm 25 seconds on clock. I played rook a7, he played queen b8, played rook a4 back. So what I'm relying now? I'm relying that he's also playing very quick. He has time to think, but he's also pressuring my time a lot. So If he made one blunder, that will be a great comeback for me. But there is no any blunders on the side. That's how much position of black is safe. King h7. Now I try to move my king, but then I realize if I move my king somewhere, then pawns are really dropping here. I played queen d3. Then he pushed h5. I took this pawn and forgot that now queen will enter and target not just the pawn, also the rook. That's pretty much where the game starts ending. Queen entrance, not threatening to sack on the rook, and then because knight is pinned to win my queen back, or simply to enter the other side where some checkmate is coming. 5 seconds, then I played rook a2, he took with check. I brought my king to e3. Now there is many ways to win. Let's just see until the end how Grandmaster will finish it. King d2. And now the simple way is to just give another check, but even trading and entering the endgame, like queen takes d3, king takes d3, followed by knight takes e4 is also very normal, easy win for like in the endgame, but he decided to go queen h2. I played king d1. And that's it. He just need to take the rook, which he did, and that's game over. I resigned the game. That's about a 5th round. We are currently 3 out of 5. Here I'm explaining to him that f5 was a bad move, but it's not really about f5. It's generally about exposing my pawn so much and letting him infiltrate with his pieces and create a counterplay on the queen side. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next round.